Hey everybody, I'm Zach Madem from Venom Skate Products. Today I'm going to talk to you about all the different ways trucks available today control side-to-side slop in the hanger. This is important because especially when you're sliding, when you're going sideways and putting sideways force on your wheels, if your hanger can slop back and forth, that's where you get chatter and makes it hard to feel when it's gripping or sliding. Everything's bad. So there are several different ways that this is being done today, which is exciting because that wasn't the case just a few years ago. Starting with, of course, the traditional bushing seat truck. Nothing special here, just a pivot and a round bushing seat with a lip on it to hold the bushing in. The way this interfaces with the bushing is simple. Obviously, bushing goes into the bushing seat and it fits hopefully fairly tightly. And then when you load it up sideways, the lip of the bushing seat bears on the bushing and stops it from moving back and forth. So this works, but it's not as good as it could be. The problems with this are basically a bushing is a very small piece of urethane, and asking it to do the job of providing you with the rebound to put you back to center and resist your turn and all that, while simultaneously asking it to flex in another direction to eliminate side-to-side movement is really a lot for just this little tiny piece of urethane to do. So as a result, you get less turn from your bushings wear out faster. If you have a truck that happens to have a really sharp lip on the bushing seat, it can cut your bushings up over time. It's a decent solution, but not a perfect one. So the first thing that people tried to do to eliminate this slop and not make the bushing seat do all the work were spherical bearings. This seemed like an ideal engineering solution at the time because there's no slop at all side to side. It's perfect metal on metal, smooth, ideal pivot. The issue is it's metal on metal. So shock from the road goes through your wheel, to your axle, to your hanger, into the kingpin, straight into your deck and into your feet. It's really good for, like, a spherical bearing idea came mostly from slalom, where going back and forth edge to edge as fast as possible is preferable, and it works super well for that. Slalom racers also usually ride on really smooth pavement, so the metal on metal problem wasn't really an issue. Today, hardly anybody rides spherical bearings for downhill just because at high speed it's really twitchy and can be unstable, especially on rough pavement or where there's gravel. So this works, but it's not perfect. More recently, other people have done interesting things that have controlled the problem. For instance, if you remember the fire truck, that had two sphericals, which also had the problem where it didn't provide preload on the bushings, which is where you get a lot of your stability. The Ronin truck came along a couple years ago with a support pin design that uses this vertical pin that goes into the base plate and then into the hanger to eliminate that side-to-side slop. It doesn't do so perfectly because it still floats in a plastic sleeve, and so there's still just a little bit of back and forth play, but it's really pretty good. But the important part with the support pin is that it allows the truck to move up and down as well, so that you can still preload the bushing and get the stability that you need out of that. So with the support pin, pros include the fact that you don't have to rely on the bushing for stability. It can be free to do whatever it wants, so you don't need a bushing seat, which is great. Provides you with really quite a bit of side-to-side stabilization, but it's still not perfect, still has a little tiny bit of slop, and when you're sliding you definitely get a lot more contact feedback. You get the metal on metal effect, but only when you're sliding. Now some manufacturers also use an insert bushing inside the hanger. Radical trucks did it a few years ago and road trucks use it now, where there's another piece of urethane inside the hanger that moves independently of the bushing. So even when the bushings are being squished, the insert bushing remains with the hanger and not with the bushings. And it works very much on the same principles as a spherical bearing, where it transfers the load to the kingpin and helps stabilize the truck in that way. And it's a bigger piece of urethane than just the little lip you get with your bushing seat. So it can do a better job with that, still get the preload on your bushings, but it doesn't have a metal on metal feel in any direction. It's not as precise side to side as the spherical or necessarily the Ronin, but it doesn't have any hard edges. It really smooths it out a little bit, and there are very few wear items. It's just this one piece of urethane that you can change out. So also a pretty good solution. Those are all the different ways your truck can be stabilized. Looking forward to seeing more people come up with more ideas in the future, but those are the popular ones right now, and that's how they work.
Yay.